Carmel. I want to thank you and welcome. This is our 18th time we've done this. This is called Mancave Classified. We kind of wanted to do this just to ease the tensions between brothers and white folk. That's actually not why we do this. We just basically want to have fun dialogue and express what it is to be a man and not to kowtail to the narratives that are going crazy out there. But Carmel, welcome. How have you been the last couple months? We haven't done anything. We've both been really busy in careers and
hmm
doing stuff. How have you been?
Good, bro. Little vacation here and there, but still always busy. But keeping up with the stuff. Now this was definitely a need with what's going on.
Where do,
So
where do black people go on vacation?
we go to the house.
Oh,
We stay
I
home.
set that up. Oh,
We stay at the house, bro.
you,
We
stand,
we who invented the staycation? Black folks.
you know what? That's not a bad idea. I was just telling you a few minutes before we started the show. I wish I could take a month off and read these books. You
Yeah.
know, that to me is true time off and enjoying, a little bit of peace. But hey, I just got to start off. I was kind of blown away. I looked at the news in the last couple of days, and aside from President Donald Trump getting nicked in the ear, you
hmm
got a lot of young people dying out of nowhere, like Shannon Doherty died at age 53. Um, Richard Simmons, all these, and some of these people, they're getting to that age where they should die, or can is more plausible. But
Most,
there's
yeah.
there's people out there 40, 41 years old for no reason at all, and that new number one cause of death in the industry in the world, but really in the industry is unknown. You know,
Unknown.
unknown cause of death. We can't admit the obvious because that would cause liability.
Right.
Yeah, you can't admit the obvious because it causes liability.
Which
So
is crazy. Which is crazy. Like the thing that started the thing talked about ad nauseum because of the potential it could cause. But the
right.
other thing that's causing the other thing we can't talk about.
Well, and we all know what things we're talking about. The one thing that bothers me the most is the thing that caused the thing um, wasn't even a thing.
It's gone
And
now.
well,
What happened to it?
well, they actually use. I mean, you can go to the CDC website and I prove this. They actually use the influenza to cause the thing in the numbers. And if you look at the influenza on at least my video, I haven't checked in the last couple of years since I created the video. It went from 45,000 deaths per year to 5 or 6 deaths, 5 or 6 for influenza, and everything else was COVID. And then you take the numbers, you add the facts that they were including heart attacks, diabetes, and all these things. Well,
Car crashes,
car crashes, stabbings,
right?
um,
Drownings.
drownings, but he had COVID. Carmel had COVID. We're going to
You
include
did.
that.
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
going to include that. And
Yep.
so they had that one little line, dude. I found it, and I had a show on this. Only 5% of all the deaths are from COVID alone, meaning influenza alone. And now we're dealing with the aftermath of why it was so important to have everybody, do the second thing.
Right.
And that second thing seems to be doing a lot more than saving people. So I don't know what to say about all this, but I think the things are all obvious. Especially, let's do a segue.
Mm.
How's your favorite president, Biden? You black liberal Democrat, you.
Oh, he's doing great. He's doing great. He had another speech today. He actually got through it well. Named
No,
everybody correctly.
he didn't call his vice president Trump again.
He did not. He did not. He
Okay,
called her by her right name. He called everyone by their right name, and then he got his ass out of
you,
there.
it's going to get to the point where it's going to be AI generated everything. It's like I want
I
to make a
mean,
speech today. This is what I want to say. Let's put the AI out there, or the fake guy. I think it's fake guy anyway.
I wouldn't. I mean, look, if he's going to be there in another for the next few months, you might as well use AI. Why wouldn't you at this point? Why
So
would you let him get up there and say something that crazy?
for the record, I think it's a dummy. I think it's an actor. But why are they doing this? Why would they let if it's a guy wearing a mask? Because that's the big rumor. That's the conspiracy theory. It's a guy wearing a mask. Because the old guy didn't have earlobes, or he had earlobes, like big ones, and the new guy, the one that's in the office, has no earlobes.
Yeah.
And there's more. There's scratching of the neck and this whole moving of this facial thing, and those are things that are kind of like showing us that we're either getting played, or it's optics, or it's theatrics, or it's whatever. It's the most beautiful act we've ever seen, and it's the most disgrunting. It makes me disgruntled.
I feel like this year alone, I have seen more. I mean, and a lot of it is to do just because my eyes are different than they were 20 years ago. But there are so many things now telling us you're being played that people just took a second to get off their phones and like think about what they just saw. But I think they get on their phone, they scroll so much, they just get inundated. But if you just stop and look at what you just saw for a second and understand why did you just see that? Or, for example, this new movie coming out with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum called Fly Me to the Moon. Have you seen the trailers for this?
I have, and it's all based on the fraud of the actual moon landing.
So now, I mean, these kind of movies have been out. I mean, Capricorn 1, again, I always bring this movie up. If you haven't seen it, go see it. They've been telling us this stuff for decades. But for some reason this year, stuff is coming out so fast. I'm like, okay, guys, they're making it really obvious, which is actually scary to me, because if they're really getting to the point where they're not hiding it as much, there's probably something else coming that's really going to shock people. Whether it's aliens, whether it's Biden pulls his mask off or something else, whatever. Something's going to happen where people are going to see something. And those of us that are like coherent and ready, we're going to be like, are you guys serious? Well, the rest of us are like accepting it.
I think they got to do what they're doing to continue the programming along the lines of LGBTQ, transvestite. But what happened yesterday to me seems like a landslide now is going to go in Trump's favor. Like, there's no way they are going to stop unless they control. And there's going to be too many Republican conservatives at these voting places. There's going to be too much accountability this time. I can't see how they could make Biden or Kamala and Newsom win, but I could see the theatrics behind Big Mike and Kamala as a running mate, meaning Kamala for president with Big Mike, Michelle Obama as vice president, and we all know why I call him Big Mike. But
Big Mike and Kamala sound like a WWE duo, because there was the King Kamala back in the day. Did you remember that guy? I don't know if you remember WWE, but yeah, there was a guy called King Kamala.
I didn't really watch WWE, and I don't know why. It wasn't on my.
Back in the Hogan days, Hogan and Macho Man Savage, there was a guy named King Kamala, big African dude.
Hey, side subject. Hogan gave his life to the Lord.
Really?
Yeah, you never heard about that?
No.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, why now? I mean, that's cool. I mean, this is interesting. Like, I mean,
tell us what you really feel.
Well, Hogan's got an interesting history. Let's say Terry, because his real name is Terry. Terry has some like, I don't know if he's racist or not.
A girl's name like mine.
At least Kelby has a strong K in front of it. Terry's it's okay.
I don't know about
Terry. No, Terry is definitely it can go either way. I don't know any girl Kelbys.
Bro, so when I was born, Kelby was a boy's name, and about 25 years ago, some Yahoo out there decided to name their daughter Kelby. And then now there's a bunch of Kelbys.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Girls. Well, it's not like Shannon. Shannon is, any dude named Shannon always freaks me out.
Straight up.
Like, what?
Straight up.
It's like, I don't get that one. But yeah, I guess Terry's daughter was dating a black dude for a minute, and he wasn't feeling that. And there's like some stories about that going around that he
Oh, I heard that.
called the
That
dude
was like
out, and
4 years ago, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know if he's
You know what? Every white guy says they wouldn't have a problem with their kid dating a black guy until it happens. And I think the part where, I'll be honest, where the race card would come in is if he was thug life black guy, or if he was not good for even his own community, his own culture. You know, if he was whatever. But I'd have a serious problem if that was a white dude. I
right.
remember 10:30 at night. This kid knocks on my door and asks for my daughter, Danae. This is 22 years ago,
Okay.
and he's got his hoodie on. And oh man, I basically leveled the guy. You know, I
As
didn't
you
push
should.
him or anything. I just told him, do not ever come back to my house and ask for my daughter to any degree. And I just shut the door in his face. And my daughter's like, oh, Dad.
Hmm.
I mean, you're 14 years old. It's a kid on a hoodie, no respect at 10:30 at night asking for my daughter. I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you? You know,
No,
but
same thing. Same thing. I mean, it goes both ways. But now Terry, Mr. Hulk Hogan's from Georgia, so you
oh,
know,
I think there's a little race there.
I mean, come on, man. It's baked into his blood. He wouldn't know. He don't know what to. But now he's also wrestled with black guys. He's been, connected to black. He's been in wrestling. So how the level of his actual racism, again, it's probably when it gets closer to home, you know. But like, I'm not tripping. But if he's found Christ, great, good for him.
Oh, you can tell you're upset. All
It's like,
right.
yeah, it is what it is.
So next subject, and it's the title of our show. Let me include this little video. Now, look, I am not going to replay the carnage of an ear that got nicked, supposedly,
Supposedly.
and or the optics that were behind it. But I just want to preempt what I'm about to show with basic communication of what my belief about the Secret Service is now. I literally, no offense, but I literally am 100% sure that either they are so inept or just not trained or were a part of an attempt to take out Donald Trump. I have never seen such a disorganized unit of Secret Service agents trying to hustle a president off the stage. And that's the after the shot. Let's not even talk about before when they were pointing over at this white roof where 10 minutes before, and I've got the video, I've already downloaded it to His Advocates TV. They got the guy climbing up on the roof, a guy who supposedly made threats to Donald Trump days before that the Secret Service knew about, the feds knew about. They supposedly allowed this guy to climb up to an adjoining roof where they would normally probably take a position from anyway. And they're watching them through the scope. Now, look, Carmel, I don't know if you've ever looked through a sniper rifle scope. When you were at the distance they were at, which was under 100 yards, you're looking at the dimples on their cheeks. You're looking as if they were right there in front of you. You know what they're reaching for, what's in their hands, whether they're sweaty or not, whether they're on the team or not, and their desire. So for me to know that for 10 minutes, a guy is warning cops, warning the Secret Service, and saying, look, over and over and over, and you're going to hear his own words, and this is multiple people, to let him get shots off against the president. And then where are the shields? Carmel, for 2,000, 3,000 years, some, the 300, those guys all ripped in that movie.
Yep.
Whoever invented the shield, where's the bulletproof shields? You got countries like Ecuador, with shields that go up immediately around their president, throw a blanket over him that's bulletproof, and then run him off the stage as if they know every single detail of what to do in that particular moment. But these guys cover him barely, and let him have the opportunity for optics. Not swinging him off the stage, running him at full capacity. So
Right.
that's what it is. It's either optics designed to be a show or an attempted assassination with completely stupid ass, pardon my French, Secret Service agents who don't care or don't know their job, or is an attempted assassination attempt from within. It's one of those three. And here we go. Let me
Play it.
Here we go. Hold on.
We could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing
50 feet
at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
He had a rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle.
50 feet away.
Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see? Obviously, everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, we just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching. But you're pretty sure they shot the guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It appears that Donald Trump has been...
Okay, my brother, what do you think about that? You're muted, by the way.
So, 2 things. Trump supporters are pretty... let me give my overall opinion first.
Please.
I think it's staged. Okay, here's why. I cannot fathom the Secret Service being that inept. I want to say every time I've ever seen the Secret Service involved in anything, they are...
You're proud of them.
Whether I like the guy or not, they're protecting.
Right.
They are elite. They are elite.
Elite.
All of them, right? I don't care who, president, senator, governor, they are always elite, right? Okay. Here's the thing. They always scout the perimeter to the nth degree.
They say hello. Are you going to be at home at this time? What's going on? How many people are in this house? They are for days before.
Days before.
Yeah.
Thirdly, now, the guy who's speaking, he was wearing a MAGA hat, right?
Oh yeah. And he's 50 feet away with a rifle.
If I'm a MAGA guy,
Would
I'm a
you
Trump-
not go for it? I would go for it.
100%, you would go for it.
I'd be a hero. I'd be the hero.
Donald's gonna love me.
Oh yeah.
Donald's gonna see
I'm
me
gonna go to
take out this
dinner
guy.
with Donald Trump.
Dude,
Going to dinner with the Trump family.
Donald's put me on his.
I'm going to have the Trump card. I'm going to be able to go to any of his hotels, any of his casinos.
For life. I saved his life at a rally.
Right.
Oh my God, bro! I'm probably put on his freaking board now.
Right.
I'm taking him out.
He would gift you $1 billion
easily. If I took out a sniper crawling up, so basically this guy watched this guy go
with Donald
easily.
It'd be forever that you'd make a little movie together.
And I would think half of the people there who are MAGA people would do that.
Right.
At least half, if not most of them, because they are some ardent fans and lovers of Trump.
Oh yeah.
If I'm seeing a guy go up and he obviously wasn't like military because he's probably dressed like a kid or whatever he was, running up with a rifle, I'm taking him out. This dude just watched him.
I know.
Then he gets on the roof. I'm pretty sure.
All you just got to do is grab him by the sack while he's climbing up.
That's it.
You know he's not Secret Service, so who is he?
Who is he?
Why is he?
So how did he get past everybody
with a rifle?
With the rifle, just walking up. I was on the phone, guys.
How do you get into the vicinity with a rifle?
I would imagine the perimeter is secure within 100 yards.
Right.
Easily.
And you threatened Trump 2 or 3 days before.
There's no way you get 1,000 yards.
Have a team on him
at his house.
They didn't put a GPS locator on his car. They didn't tag his phone. Come on. They wanted it. They wanted the optics, or they wanted him dead.
Kids who play Fortnite or Call of Duty or any first-person perspective shooter game mentions anything this kid says, SWAT comes to their house.
Right.
You mean to tell me this guy's saying this stuff and you're having a rally and that same guy gets on the grass? Like, what? Come on.
And then the news starts dropping the narratives like instantly. First, they went after his family. Second, they went after his presidency. Third, they went after his freedom. Now they've tried to take his life out. Optics. So, whatever it is, Donald Trump is a genius at optics, obviously. And taking those shots at the end, blood splattered up across the lip right there.
So good.
So
good.
He's like, and I thought he said the F word. I thought he was going.
It felt like it. If he wasn't saying it felt like it.
And Carmel, let's be totally honest right now. Did you tear up out of emotions?
Did I tear up?
Out of emotions.
Watching it?
Yeah.
No, I got emotional, but it wasn't tears. I was loving it. Honestly.
Come on, tell me what the emotions were.
I felt, as an actor and comedian, I thought this was an absolute performance of a lifetime. Right. I'm like, this was absolutely brilliant. Whoever wrote this, staged it, filmed it, I'm like, it's perfect. I didn't see one thing.
I didn't tear up either, by the way. And no, man, it was emotional, bro. It was very emotional because
it was really good, man. I was like, it makes me wonder.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? They're taking shots at him now. What made me so emotional was how stupid the Secret Service guy. They're like they're doing the Matrix. Like their suits are bulletproof now.
Yeah, my hand's gonna stop that Glock. I'm like AR-15 coming through.
And then it's a woman that gets under him to hold him and bring him off the set. I'm sorry, women. I'm so sorry, but Donald Trump is 265 pounds. You don't put a woman underneath his arm to help him off the stage.
Look, I had this conversation this morning, and same thing. No disrespect to women, but if let's say it's me,
it's a dog, Jack, and if you don't think any different,
Look, Trump is about as big as you and I are. He's about 6'2", 6'3". He's a big dude. You need to be at least as big as me to protect me.
Yeah.
This woman, bless her heart, looked like she just got out of the academy. She two of them, there was two women,
Robbed
looked
her
like
glasses, picked up Trump's hat. I mean, listen, I'm sorry, everybody.
if you're going to be a
That
woman
was the
and you're
most
doing that,
inept. That was a woman concerned about making sure the president's hat was okay, making sure her glasses were okay, and it was nothing about protection. And I'm going to be the hero and walking down these stairs. Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
that has to, if that woman's on detail, she has to be the most physically fit female in Army, Air Force, whatever,
Yeah. And
wherever
she's
she's
got
coming.
balls between her legs, and she's a transvestite. That's
Something, because the woman the woman they had looked like she just left the cafeteria.
Did you see the three girls lined up outside of the truck afterwards? They were like trying to get their gun in their holster, pull their gun out, and they're all looking around like this, like it looked like it was a show.
If they're actors,
to me, Secret Service would be like this,
completely calm, locked in.
Yeah.
Why are you putting your gun away?
Right. They just tried to assassinate the president. And you're like,
it's like, what are you doing?
Trying to find a holster like you've never holstered it before.
Right.
Because
an actor would struggle with that.
Oh shoot, dude. That's very, very bold of you to say, Carmen.
It makes more sense.
She was a fat actor too.
Fat
actor for a Secret Service agent.
What? Have you ever seen chubby Secret Servicemen?
No.
Never.
Not trying to holster their weapon, not looking around like, well, dude, I'm like, oh my god.
Now, if she was like
out there's some women out there that know how to shoot,
100%
holster,
100%,
and are strong as you know what, but they cannot carry a man, and I don't care how strong they are. Hey, look, here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. I, Kelby Smith, in love, hereby challenge any woman to pick me up and carry me 20 feet and put me down, and I will give you $1,000. I say this in love.
Okay.
I, Kelby Smith, am offering $1,000 to any woman without testicles that can pick me up and did not have a past life as a man, and have a birth certificate that shows they were born as a female. We'll offer $1,000 to any woman that can pick me up and carry me 20 feet and put me down nicely.
On your feet.
On my feet.
Yeah. You keeping that $1,000, dog.
I'm 295 pounds. I know I'm keeping that 1,000 pounds.
There's no way.
$1,000.
And again, it's not about we're trying to.
No, I'm not trying to put any women down.
Not putting women down, but like Secret Service. This is actually more of a credit to Secret Service. Like we said earlier, they're always
on point. Be giving them. There's no credit to be given. That was a joke, dude. That was
that
wasn't even good acting.
That wasn't no. I don't think that was them. So it was funny because watching the news as they were showing it over and over and over again. I think it was CBS. I forget her name. She does like CBS on Sunday. She always talks to politicians, Margaret Brennan or something like that. She kept saying the same stuff over and over again. What happened? What are the possibilities? After a while, you get tired of hearing it. But with one exception, she had one politician come on and she said, is it possible that Biden gave an order for this? And again, having heard it for 3 hours, I'm like, wait a minute. Did she say what I think she said? And I'm like, hey, that's even if you're asking it as, is it possible? That's a huge allocation.
Well, they're showing now all the Democrats, liberals over in a foreign country to where they don't have jurisdiction, making threats against the president, saying, Joe, it's okay now if you want to kill Trump. It's okay. They're publicly doing this now. Like, this is acceptable to take the life. Now that we know, and they've all of a sudden determined how to read a Supreme Court ruling, which they have no idea what it actually said in the, and you're only what is the word I'm looking for? Exempt. What is the word that presidents get while they're in office? They can't be charged.
Oh,
Anyway, you're only that.
immunity, immune.
You only have immunity if you're doing the office of the president. So killing your opponent is not doing the office of the president. It's doing the office of something unconstitutional. But the bottom line is, holy crap, they're saying these things publicly, and these people aren't going to jail. Secret Service isn't investigating them. You know, it's blowing my mind at how right will be wrong, wrong will be right, and we're in those days. And it's like people are programmed; they can't even see beyond the facts of what's going on out there. They actually want to believe the narratives of ABC, CBS, CNN instead of looking and Fox News they're no better anymore.
Yeah, no more.
Not looking beyond the narrative of what's really going on. Why would the majority of the world love Donald Trump? What is that? Now, my question has always been, he takes office, then he goes for a world office structure, and then he walks into the holiest of holies, and he says something very biblical. That's something I've always thought about, because he is truly of himself, and it's very hard to get over yourself when you've had that much power in your life. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
Not saying he can't be saved, not saying he's not a believer, just saying, what if? Let's look at all the possibilities. Let's throw it all on the table just to have dialogue. You know what I mean?
I think so. Trump as being that possible character. I mean, people have talked about that for a while, him being the Antichrist and this and that. The thing is, I think there's also too much hate for him to be that. Like, I feel like the person that we would consider being that possible entity that is the Antichrist has to be beloved by everybody.
Right. Now you're feeling me.
So I think there's been talk, and I'll let you, we can stir this up now. There's been talk of someone who was maybe a bigger figure than Trump and is beloved by almost everyone. And his name is very interesting. I've read a couple people mention him, and there's actually a video I'll have to find for you. He's a YouTube personality.
Not Barack Hussein Obama?
No. This guy has probably 500 million followers.
Oh, you're talking about the Beast. Oh, snap.
You know, he just mentioned possibly running for office.
He's got the platform, bro.
He has the platform.
Yeah.
No, and
he's got the name, and his best friend just started his transgender process.
And guess what his girlfriend's new book is called?
What?
The Marked Children.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
Look it up.
But is he from the descent of the Middle East?
What's the Middle East, though? That's not a real area.
You know,
so we got to figure out where he's really from, and what that really means.
Look, that's a whole nother show, bro. Where they're finding pharaoh stuff in Egyptian tombs and
the Grand Canyon.
In the Grand Canyon, yeah.
Right. So what? Yeah. So this is my thing is there's
and
so many layers.
What is Babylon when you take a look at California as the new Babylon, Hollywood, and everything that's happened out here on the West Coast, and truly, what is the history of the United States of America? Because there's a lot being uncovered here as of recently in the last 25, 30 years to show that we didn't find this nation like we found this nation.
No.
And who existed here before, and who were the true Israelites, or who were the true, or where was the actual Tigris and the actual Euphrates rivers, and where was the actual Garden of Eden, where were all of these things.
Look, I just drove to Vegas a couple weeks ago. There are some structures when you go down that freeway and that highway that look like pyramids. They're not mountainous structures. There's very distinct pyramidal structures, ziggurats out there. Like, we have no idea what was here before. We've been told so much, the programming, our educational system, religion, history, there's so many layers to this stuff that we are unaware of, that when we start digging down to the question of, well, are they from here? Well, what's here? Are they from there? Well, what's there? Like when you say Egypt, the land wasn't even called Egypt originally. That's a
Why
Greek
is Africa shown so small on a map when it's actually the size of Asia from end to end when you measure Africa truly for how many miles are from left to right? It's like, what are they trying to do?
Width, think about that. The width of Africa literally could fit Asia, just the width.
Right. Now look, okay, so we'll talk about Big Mike and Kamala in a minute. There's a lot to be said, Carmel, about the conspiracies out there of flat Earth. And I don't really know what to make of it. And I'm saying that publicly because I have private pilots that are friends that live down the street.
Okay.
And they say for sure the Earth is round, and anybody that says any different doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Those are their words. I'm like, great. Then you have other pilots, friends of mine, members of my website, that say 100% the Earth is flat. And the tell is a couple things. The tell is when you just understand Polaris. Like we're spinning around the sun, supposedly 365 times, spinning 100%, 365 times around the sun. And Polaris, I don't care how you look at yourself. I want you to see yourself on the map of the world, going around the world like this, and tell me once again how Polaris never moves from one point in the sky. How does the North Star not move at all if we are spinning in a orbit around the sun? How do the constellations not move? How does the moon itself show us the same side at all times as we are spinning around the sun and the moon is orbiting around the Earth? You're trying to make me believe, and these are the hard pills to swallow, knowing what NASA is now coming out with, that we never went to the moon, that they've lost the technology to go to the moon. And we're watching rockets now being launched by Elon that go up and look like they're hitting a firmament.
Exactly.
And they go, boom. Oh. What is that about?
See, again, I think we're getting in this age where we're going to learn some stuff. Like the fact that Elon can even do this, right? That he launched a rocket not too long ago. And every time it hit.
I think he's the Antichrist person. That's just my 2 cents.
Elon?
Oh, yeah.
Why Elon?
I think he is a lizard underneath a white, flabby set of flesh.
Now that okay, lizard folk, I won't put that past you. I would go with that as well. I
only say that out of humor because we've always heard about the lizard folk that are really ruling the world. But in all seriousness, I think because of his ex-wife, what he's decided to name his children, and how easy it is for him to do everything that he does. Oh, hey, let's create an electric car and get it accepted by everybody, and let all the gasoline companies let me live. And then we're going to launch and go to a cross campaign with NASA. And we're going to launch rockets going to the moon, and we're going to figure all that out in very short order, maybe a year or 2 years. And dude, the guy blows my mind with his abilities. You
So
know,
this is why I think there's so many more layers to the fight than we actually know. Like, first of all, anyone out there who bought a Cybertruck, I'm sorry, that Cyber Fridge is the ugliest thing on the road.
it is, but it's bulletproof. And
I
it's
get it.
aeroproof.
Yeah, it's not waterproof though. How
And
stupid
it'll
is that?
chop your finger off if you get it in the way of that truck.
Right. So I can't wash it, and I got to be careful.
And
it
you're
looks like a
going
kid.
to. I didn't know it wasn't waterproof.
You
But
can't. Yeah, you can't wash it.
you're sitting in an EMF coffin.
It doesn't even look good. That's like
No, it doesn't.
it looks like a kid built a science project paying homage to RoboCop. It's a horrible looking truck. It's just, but people are getting so duped. Crocs, Teslas, earbuds. There's so many things people are just getting duped into buying because I think there's a bigger play going on. And like the fact that the world is thinking that electric is the way to go because it's like more environmentally safe when it actually causes more harm to make these batteries.
Just to make the
Right.
batteries.
It's crazy how much it takes from our resources.
Yeah.
But then you're right.
And they're not using children to do that mining process at all.
Right.
Right.
So getting back to the NASA thing, though, like I think, first of all, I think we've always pronounced the name NASA wrong. The way to pronounce it, I mean, because remember, it's an acronym, but the word is actually pronounced Nashaw. You know what Nashaw means, right, in Hebrew?
To deceive.
Right. So I had this conversation with someone the other day. I said, the NASA used to be called NACA. And then they brought a guy from a Nazi, right? Warner von Braun, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Along with Walt Disney to help create an educational program about what space exploration is supposed to be. They changed the name to NASA. And when the guy dies, he puts Psalms 19:1 on his freaking headstone.
Read it.
Let me find it. Well, it's about the firmament.
Right.
The firmament. It's yeah. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. That's on the guy's tombstone who launched NASA.
So here's another tell. There's a ton of tells. Number one, you will not see flight patterns across Antarctica. You will always see flight patterns going over the North Pole to the other side of the world because they say because the Earth is flat, versus going from here over to there. They got to go all the way like this, saying that's a shorter course instead of going from here to here. So if you take a look at the flight patterns on the Earth, the globe, you'll see all kinds of lights and patterns above up here, but you'll see nothing down by Antarctica. The second tell is when you go to a Antarctica map on Google Earth, Carmel, and you draw a line around Antarctica to measure the miles, it goes into the billions.
Interesting.
Because it's measuring the whole wall.
It makes way more sense that it's flat.
Well, it does, but it also goes against every single thing that we have been taught, and it would literally unhinge the entire education platform across the earth if that came to be known true.
Yeah. And prior to the early 1600s, 1700s, that was the thinking universally. Then all of a sudden, oh, it's a globe.
Right.
Okay. So why did all the ancient Egyptians, ancient Aztecs, ancient Vikings, all in antiquity had the idea that the earth was flat, and then all of a sudden, nah, it's a ball.
It's a ball.
Yeah.
And,
I can look up
the funny thing is
stars every single night, every single day.
The pictures that they show of the earth They call it the blue marble, the first ones we ever got, supposedly from space, right on the NASA website.
Yeah.
It says is an artist's rendition. It's not a picture. Our first pictures from space of Earth are here, and in fine print, artist rendition.
Every time I see that, I'm like, it's a picture of space. I'm like, okay, it's a picture. You said it right. It's a picture. Images, pictures,
So
video.
are you officially a flat earther?
No, I can't be. No one can be unless you can yourself fly out there and go take a look. No one can be officially
That's
anything.
what I'm saying right there, and I keep it open because none of the stuff makes sense. The flight patterns, Google Earth, none of the stuff makes sense. Like, and I've seen the cameras that do long range extensions, and you start to understand the depth of what it should look like at 100 miles away across the ocean. You shouldn't even be able to see a building because of the curvature. But yet, when you zoom in on those telescopes, the buildings are still there on a clear day, all the way down to the base of the building. That to me is a tell. Or
not to mention our biggest united community globally, the UN, their logo
is a
flat map.
Yeah. Oh, we just did that so we can show the whole Earth. Yeah. Who knows, man? You're a serious conspiracy theorist, Carmel.
I'm a critical thinker.
I set you up with every conspiracy out there just to get you to commit, but you didn't commit. That's pretty good. Because now everybody out there doesn't know whether I feel the same as you or not.
That's good. That's good. I like to ask questions. I asked the question the other day. Speaking of, you said shields, right? Every country has shields or plexiglass or something protecting their high-ranking government officials. There's one person who has more protection than anybody when he comes out. Full plexiglass car.
The Pope.
And he's the person who shouldn't. You believe in God, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you protecting yourself from? What are you scared of? Well, why do you have that much protection from you if you are the closest person to God in this entire world?
We know why. Because he doesn't have God's protection. He is the Black Pope. And I don't mean color-wise.
No, of course not. We can get into that word another day.
That's a hard pill for people to swallow.
Oh God, yeah.
So what are we doing here, Karma? We got the same thought process. It's one of three things, and we're never really going to know except when you look at the setup. Like why doesn't Trump have plexiglass? Why doesn't Trump have real Secret Service? Why did the Secret Service fail him completely this time? From the elements of the guy setting up across the other building. Why weren't they across on that building? The guy said it himself. Why weren't a Secret Service agent stationed over there watching?
Well,
listen, this is a building that can get a position on him, and there's nobody over there guarding it.
Like the same way you had someone on this other building of your detail. Why wasn't someone from your detail on that same building pointing the other direction? It's like every flat surface, every roof within 100 yards should have had Secret Service on top of it. Why was one vacant?
So how many women do you think I'm going to upset with my $1,000 challenge?
Upset?
Yeah.
We have a lot upset. How many will actually take it is the better question.
Well, I don't want to piss anybody off. I just
you do.
Think it's a valid challenge.
But look, you're pissing them off because the thought process needs to be happen. You need to really think, why is a woman who's obviously not in shape enough or big enough to protect this man on his detail?
You know it's going to be some steroid mama, 6'8" on steroids.
Swedish
does a special flight in and just to call me up and get me picked up and walk me, hold me like a little baby.
Hey, the first thing we can do is say, hey, you know what, Trump, we got you one. Here you go. This is what you need to have in your detail.
Got your chief of detail
right here.
It only cost me $1,000.
Oh, easy, cheap.
It was cheap. They're
Yeah.
flying in from all over the place to prove themselves. I'm gonna, we did what was the guy's name who had a elite group of women protectors? We stole all of his gold. We raided his country and stole all of his gold. And
Gaddafi?
Gaddafi. The guy was crazy, but his citizens loved him. His citizens, he paid for everything. They didn't have to do anything really,
Now the guy we were told was crazy, right? Told he was a dictator.
Right. They all loved him.
Mm-hmm.
So what if he had, 50 women on his payroll and did some crazy stuff, The guys all loved him. And to say that we went in there for one reason, to steal his gold.
Yeah.
We went into Iraq for the same reason. We're trying to do it to Iran, trying to do it to every single country in the Middle East.
Yeah. If we can,
that was a plan issued a long time ago, where, oh gosh, what was that general who came out in public on YouTube and said it? Said we were in the Pentagon and we saw a memo that we were going to go after these 6 countries over the next 10 years. And we got them all except one.
But it's funny how the media paints us as this bringer of peace and stabilization to these disruptive countries when we're the disruptor. We're the bully.
We're the theft.
We're the theft. We're the one.
It's like this. The guys that are the billionaire twins? You ever hear of them?
Mm-mm.
They're the Bitcoin billionaires. They're now being charged for tax evasion. And I'm like, come on, anybody reach out to them, let them know I exist, because I'll take them off the tax rolls right now. But the bottom line is this. Every time they go after somebody for tax evasion on Bitcoin, the ultimate charge and the ultimate conviction has nothing to do with taxes. Because there is no taxation that can be done on Bitcoin. There's no law.
So what do they get them on? If they get them.
Wire transfer fraud.
Okay.
Stupid things. Mail fraud.
The process. It's the process.
Yeah, it's like everybody they can't get something on, it's mail fraud. They couldn't get what's his name? The Chicago mobster, mob boss. He did 10 years for mail. He did 10 years for tax evasion or something. That's how they get everybody. But the point is there was this guy who stole a bunch of Bitcoin from the dark web.
Mm-hmm.
Big old show on him on Netflix. And they set him up to go and keep his computer open. In the whole show, I'm like, babe, it was a show about trying to set this guy up and trying to get his computer open to keep his account open so they can control the Bitcoin and wire it off of his account. But he stole billions in Bitcoin back in 12 or 13 off the dark web and went underground for a while, then came out and he's having parties and lavish this, lavish that, buying houses, paying this off, that off. Well, they knew him as a crypto king. And then when they were coming after him, trying to go after what he supposedly had done, the ultimate charge wasn't even related to stealing the Bitcoin in the first place. And the government ends up with the billions in Bitcoin. He ends up doing 1 year. And so when you ask your question, what is the bigger theft? What was the right to go after him in the first place when not one of those guys on the dark web made a charge? Nobody on the dark web is going to go, oh, my Bitcoin got stolen. I was trying to buy meth and I was trying to buy this on the dark web and an AK-47, nobody's doing that. So he stole all the Bitcoin free and clear, but somebody knew about it and they went after, they found him, stole the Bitcoin from him, and he got some stupid charge. He's out of prison a year later because they couldn't charge him for a real crime. And that's what the whole issue is with these cryptocurrencies right now is there's truly no legislation behind the cryptos. That's why you're going to see XRP, XLM, and the ones that are, 20022 compliant taken off like overnight, and where they're going to go from 50 cents to $1,000 like within a couple of years. Anyway,
what keeps coming up for me is a lot of this in our court system, our banking, legislation, politics, all the stuff that's like stuff that we've talked about, stuff that the actual factuals, like what actually is a crime, what does it really mean to go before a judge, all the, like, I think a lot of people start doing a little extra homework and think, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, if there's no actual tax law, why am I paying taxes? Why is the IRS coming for me? Oh, okay, you got a hint. Do a little research, dig a little. They're trying to tell you something. A lot of this to me, I think is the karmic retribution thing. Like if I tell you, and I warn you and I let you know what happens to you, I'm not held responsible. I think a lot of that's happening because there's about to be a huge shift in our economy, in our education, just our environment in general. So these people are
to be a good Christian, you must pay your taxes.
Well,
that's what our old pastor said. That was my last day at that church. Actually, that wasn't my last. One of my last days. But the day that he made men, he rewarded men for doing. I'm gonna wreak havoc for this. He showed a video of a guy and his wife left to go shopping, and he had kids. Go for it. Watch the kids. That's your job as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
But when she left, they fast forwarded him running around the whole house, cleaning everything for 4 hours or whatever it was, all day, and taking care of the kids, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, cleaning the whole house. Now, guys, look, I agree that men should participate in keeping a house. But when a man is the sole provider of a house and he comes home and he has an opportunity to, not work and relax and refresh, it's better for the whole family to allow for that to take place. So his mood as a leader and as a father is different. Now, the woman's going to argue, well, she has a full-time job. Well, she has this. And I agree. Raising kids is difficult. It is not as difficult as being the man of a house. It is not as hard as finding the money to pay the bills, keep a roof over your head, keep you in a car, keep you driving nice, and buying groceries that are $100 a bag right now. It's not as easy to be a man as it is to be a woman these days in a role of a house. Now, I'm not putting down the roles when I'm saying this, so please don't misinterpret it. But the bottom line for me was I was working 16 hours a day already. And what happened is it put into this woman here sitting next to me and every other woman that was the man for them. And that was the pedestal of every house now that needed to be met, or he wasn't a good Christian. That was my last day at church. Because I know how hard I work. I know what I've sacrificed. I know what I've lost. I know what I lost for the entire family. I know what I gained for the entire family. But to put it in every woman's mind that was the standard of a man.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I
would say, to piggyback on that, my last day was similar to that. I had one we had one like marriage retreat-esque like meeting. Saw a similar video where there was like 8 scenarios. 7 of them was a dude jacking up, and the one was a woman who was she was depressed. That's why she was jacking up. I'm like,
I'm serious.
Okay.
You got to admit, he knew how to cater to the ones that he knew were coming to the church.
The church is not trying to make alpha dogs.
No,
Not at all.
no. Can you
The
imagine?
church's whole role
You're going
is
to piss off every woman if you make an alpha dog.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's nothing about church, and I'm speaking about church people. I'm not talking about the Bible or God or whatever you want. The church is designed to make people follow something. It's designed to make you feel lesser. Because as soon as you start feeling greater, you don't need to be there. I don't need to pay the church's bills or the pastor's salary or do any of that other stuff. I get to
That's
leave.
a whole nother thing on tithing. I don't want to get into that right now, but that's a whole nother thing that I do not agree with that church that we went to or any other church. And the other thing that turned me off is the very reason for the tithe. Now let's talk about this for a sec so people understand. I believe in tithing, but if you understand, there's like 4 different types of tithe. Number one. Number two, it is not 10% of after-tax dollars from you to your church. And let's presume that it was in your sick mind that doesn't know the word of God at all. The reason why the Levites were granted 10% of the first fruits was so that they could take care of the entire body of the homeless, the widows, the orphans, and because they represented literally 10% of the entire populace. So out of 4 million people when that was created, they were 400,000 people. And what were they? They were the government, they were the church, they were the elderly caring providers, they were the homeless caring providers, the orphan caring providers, all of that. So when my church is asking for 10% and handing a pamphlet out that you need to go to your government, who you're already paying taxes to go get help and support, versus bringing them into the church and making it a spiritual hospital and feeding them and clothing them. Secondly, the church is normally hiring 5 or 6 people on salary, huge salaries, new cars every couple of years, houses prepaid for, your clothing lines are paid for, all of it's paid for, your retirement's paid for, and you're not hiring 10% of the population of your church. So if you got 5,000 people going to your church, you better have 500 people on payroll. Okay, that's what the Levites did. So now that I got that out on the table, that's upsetting to me, knowing that one day I saw a guy who was struggling. I was told to give him a pamphlet and let him use our phone to find another source of governing support to help him out in his time of homeless needs. That broke me inside. And I started thinking, truly, what is a spiritual hospital? You're dealing with the good and the bad, with the possessed and the non-possessed. You need to deal with them all. That's what the Levites did. That's what they were designed for. And that's why they got the 10% of the first fruits. So it's bro, and there's so much more to that. But the bottom line is, I got to learn a lot by going to church, and I got to learn a lot of what was right and what was wrong. The one that clipped my hide and didn't feel right more than anything was Romans 13 and 2 Peter 2:13. And on that note, we'll have that as another dialogue another day. But hey, do you want to do a shout out real quick to our friends?
Who Mike and Kenny?
Yeah.
I know they are. Last I heard they were out in New York. I don't know where they at now, but they need to hit us up. We need to do another show.
We're buckling up right now. We're heading over to the cigar bar.
Yes.
To chillax, get ourselves a Cubano, big old sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Have a nice stogie, relax.
Wish y'all was here.
All right, Carmel. Any closing comments, my brother?
No, man. Let's keep you guys' eyes open. Should be a fun. Oh, we got the Olympics coming up. We might have another pop off. You never know. It's gonna be a fun summer. Excited.
All right, bro. Be blessed. We'll see you next time.
I mean, y'all be good.
All right.